Where I wanted to start in this conversation, given that sort of unique lens that you have and that unique place in the ecosystem that you have, I want you to tell us how AI has shifted the landscape of jobs at Upwork.
Yeah, Dan, that's a great question. I saw in your poll too, we have a lot of software engineers and people in software development. So I'll be really curious to get their thoughts on this and see if this resonates. But we've seen quite an evolution, if I'm going to be honest with you, of where AI, and I'm going to call it generative AI, started as compared to 2022, compared to beforehand and afterwards. So when ChatGPT, November 2022 took the world by storm, what we saw happening on our platform is a lot of clients coming in and just searching very general terms like Gen AI, ChatGPT. I don't know if you guys remember, prompt engineering became the rage, and we just saw these really general and terms being searched for, and I'm not even sure clients fully knew what it was that they were actually looking for at the time. Fast forward to today, and we've seen a much more mature market for generative AI evolve on our platform. And so, as I look at the data right now, what I'm seeing happening is our technology categories are becoming even more specialized, and freelancers who are earning more money, obtaining more jobs and projects on our platform are those that are going really specialized. So moving away from the general, hey, I know how to work with ChatGPT or I know how to be a prompt engineer. And instead, I think what clients have realized is if I'm going to actually capture the value of generative AI, I need data labeling. I need data annotation. I need knowledge representation. I need these really specialized skill sets to come in either on the back end with the data extraction process and cleaning up the data, or I need them on the front end. And we're seeing a rise of data visualization using AI tools as an example, arise on our platform. So I think, for me, what I'm seeing in the data is if you're in the IT space or you're in the software engineering development space, it's getting harder to remain a generalist there, and it's having become much more specialized.
So it sounds like the way that you're seeing those jobs shift, like based on what you're saying, like data labeling, like that makes me think of like people, like companies who are building their own models
Yes.
versus companies who are like applying models in their day to day, like just getting work done. For example, are you seeing anything like let's exclude
Yeah.
the parts of the work world where people are building their own models, because I think that that's like not as common as people just using AI just to code, for example. Are you seeing that in other parts of the IT sector or other jobs?
Yeah, it's a great point. So, we work with across, we work with a lot of big tech companies who come in and who are the ones building the models out there who are using freelancers to help do a lot of that data labeling. But you're right, a lot of our clients today are small to medium sized businesses. And I think this is the fascinating trend that we see. And I'll be curious to get your response to this. So as we look across before any sort of technology, RP, robotic process automation, cloud computing, those jobs never disrupted our content creators, our marketers, our writing and translation. There was no overlap. This is where we're having a profound job disruption and task disruption on our platform is every category today has some sort of AI job. And so instead of just content creation, what we're seeing actually grow at faster rates is AI content creation. And surprisingly, where we actually see a lot of AI work growing too is in our writing and translation category, which was obviously very disrupted, and especially in the line of work and business you're in. Now we're seeing AI get thrown in the middle of, AI prompt tooling and writing and being able to use these tools, Copilot. And so I think what's happening is in a non-technical field perspective, we're seeing newfound demand of, hey, I just want you to start using an AI tool. And I think it's going to be really critical for freelancers, but also full-time employees to figure out where does the human intelligence still ride and where do you make those judgment calls of where you're using AI tooling and where we actually want to preserve that human skill set.
Totally. I think that that's really interesting. And I imagine, like, I don't, you may know the history better than me here, but I imagine like if you went back to the like the 70s and 80s when when PCs first started to become a thing, I imagine there was maybe a similar shift there in the way that people thought about how they were hiring for jobs, where yeah, it wasn't just like it wasn't hiring engineers to like to just programmers or whatever. It would be like, I want you to be able to use VisiCalc or Excel to do finance versus like people
Yes.
who are just did finance by hand. And now it's like it's just the default. Like if you don't use Excel, like you can't be in you can't be in finance basically. Like if you're doing it with a slide rule, like that's just not going to work. It seems like this is sort of a general purpose technology that is akin to Excel in that it's used by lots and lots of different types of people across different kinds of businesses, and it will be like a standard. It will be a standard thing where doing things fully by hand maybe probably will still be around, but like will be less common. But I think yeah, I think it's interesting for us at Every, like we could not do the stuff that we do without
Yeah.
AI. You know, we run three products in house. Each product is run by one person, and that person fixes bugs and ships features. And I would say like probably 80% of the code is written by AI. They understand all of the things that are being built, but 80% is written by AI. In the writing part of it, that's writing's a little bit more personal, so it's hard to replace as much of it. Um, but uh, but it's still like very involved in the process and allows us to write better stuff more quickly than we would before. So yeah, I can imagine employers wanting like this as a specific skill that they're looking for whenever they're hiring for people in the future.